Good morning and welcome back to the Red Mic. Happy Friday. Been dealing with some gremlins here today, or at least I thought they were gremlins. Anyway, these Red Mic messages are leadership and life lessons I've picked up from 25 years as a public servant, 16 years as a youth football coach and scouting volunteer, and 10 years as a mediocre athlete with far more heart than actual physical ability. And, today going to talk about a couple of things, oddly enough, since one of them is duality. But the one I'm adding at the last minute is, that meme going around of Homer's dad yelling at the clouds, and you know, well, I, I'm feeling like the put upon old man who is mad because they moved everything at the store and he doesn't know where anything is right now. Or in The Godfather, messing around with my arrangements. Yeah. I write up notes every day for this, and I put them in WordPad. And because it's a very easy word processing program, very rudimentary, not as rudimentary as Notepad. But apparently, Windows, in their ultimate wisdom, has decided, oh, you don't need WordPad anymore. So I go to my desktop and my bar at the bottom of the page where I've got everything pinned that I use regularly, and it's not there. And I'm like, what the heck? And I remembered, okay, I had an update happening overnight. So I freak out. I go looking for my documents. I finally find them in the folder where I saved them. And they all, instead of the WordPad icon, they're all the Word icon. Well, I can't get the window the right size, so I'm playing around. I'm messing around with it. And then I look up and I'm like, oh, it's 6:34. I need to do this. So, you know, a heads up would have been nice. And yeah, apparently, just a quick search on Google showed me that apparently this all was, you know, announced or became aware. People became aware of it when they did the updates back in November. Well, I don't do the updates immediately because you never know what bugs are going to happen. So I always wait a couple of months. And then finally, I got tired of the nagging screen from Windows saying, do it, do it, do it. You know, um, felt like it was Joey outside the bedroom, do it, do it, do it. Yeah. Um, so anyway, that's my old man rant for this morning. Not as much fun, I think, as the rant that I did yesterday, but at least you could have a chuckle at my expense this morning. So anyway, the second part, and again, fitting because I was going to talk about duality today. The second part of my red mic message today. When I was in high school, I wore a lot of hats. I was a football player. I was in a cappella choir, and I was in drama club. Thespian, master thespian. Um, I know you've seen me, right? At Big Shock, you were in theater. Ooh. Um, well, every group had their own kind of energy, their rhythm, their expectations, their norms, and because of that, I felt like sometimes I had you know one foot planted in three different time zones, sort of. I you had to adapt your language and behavior depending on which group you were in, and I wanted to belong and fit in and be part of the crowd and all of that. Um, but I think what I was really doing was examining the different facets of myself. Trying to figure out who I was, who I could be, who I wanted to be. You know, well, literature, both classic literature and pop literature, have and pop culture have been dealing with the duality of man for centuries. Whether it's Jekyll and Hyde or Crime and Punishment or I don't know, Captain Kirk getting split into two personalities. Um, that sort of discussion, that sort of examination of the human condition happens a lot. Well, I started watching, finally got around to started watching Severance on Apple TV. And it's a show where a company splits people's work personalities from their real life personalities. It's like they flip a switch, and when they're in the building, they're work Bob, and when they're outside of the building, they're their regular selves. Well, there was a line, and they call them innies in the building and outies and out of the buildings, right? Well, there was a line that hit me just in an episode that I watched the other day. It was like, my innie lives his own life, and as a result, I get to live mine. And it made me wonder about authenticity. Where does your authenticity show itself more clearly? At work, at home, somewhere in between? Marty Stewart, who, best hair ever. I mean, just glorious hair. Um, in one of his songs, that's one of my favorite songs of his, Me and Hank and Jumpin' Jack Flash, he said, be what you are at all times and tell the folks out there the truth. And that ain't going to cost you a dime. But if you're planning to be different, son, you're just rolling the dice, right? Good message, right? Shakespeare, to thine own self be true, basically. So authenticity, it's complicated, and some of the greatest minds in history have been talking about it forever, right? So authenticity can be messy. It's complicated. And yeah, we all learn early on that maybe we have to adapt a little bit to the situation, meet the demands of our environment. So at work, maybe we dial back our quirks. We dress a different way. Now, speaking of dressing a different way, they say dress for the job you want. Well, today I'm dressing for the weather I want. I'm so tired of cold weather. Anyway, so I'm wearing my cabana wear. Um, you might speak more formally, and at home you largely drop your guards. But even there's roles you play: spouse, parent, caregiver, friend. All of those things. So the question isn't whether we adapt; it's whether, if in the adapting, are we staying true to our core? So this is what I've kind of put together. Adapting doesn't mean changing who you are. It doesn't mean being the same person in every space. It means knowing who you are at your core and bringing that truth into every interaction, even if it takes on a different form. It's like water, and the Wonder Twins taught us, right? Water can change form, right? How many pop culture references can I fit in today? It can flow through a stream. It can flow into a cup. It can be ice. It can be snow. It can be sleet. It changes shape, but its essence stays the same. No matter how you change water, it's still H2O, right? Um, Another thought came to mind, and I can't pull it out of my back of my brain. It'll come to me later. I'll put it in the comments. Um, oh, it's the Gus thing about with all fruit. Yeah, I don't know how that applies. Squirrel. Anyway, so the world pushes us to compartmentalize, to be one person at home and another person at work, but I think you're going to find more fulfillment if you do everything you can to integrate your values into everything you do, into every role you're playing. Hold on to your core identity. Again, be what you are at all times, and tell the folks out there the truth. That's today's Red Mike message. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you will indulge me the old man rant that I added a little bit earlier. I suspect that WordPad might still be available as an app, but I'll have to go hunting for that this weekend. Speaking of the weekend, it's supposed to be nicer, at least in Austin. So try to get out, get some sun, get those vitamins percolating. I appreciate you being here. I really do. Thank you so much. Please give me a like, a follow, and a share. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I I cannot tell you how much it means to me that you spend some time with me every day. Thanks so much. I'll see you again tomorrow, and don't forget, life is short. Drink the bourbon.